This is Surviving Survivor.
Hello and welcome back to Surviving Survivor. We are going to talk all about episode 1 of Survivor 49. Super excited, and who better to talk to than my amazing co-hosts Emily McGlynn and Abby Tarpey. I am Jack Freiser, and we will be talking about everything Survivor 49 this season. We may have some special guests, and yeah, I'm excited to just have the OG trio for this first episode.
Oh yeah, baby. Also, I do not want to be called Emily anymore on this episode. I strictly only want to be referred to as Girl in the Middle.
Oh, Girl in the Middle.
Our icon, our legend, our Chef McGlynn, Miss Girl in Middle, knows what she's talking about.
And that was said by probably the main character of the episode, Miss Sophie.
Yes. Yes.
So do you want to get us started, Girl in the Middle?
I would love to. Immediately when everyone kind of gets to the beach and Jeff is kind of like mini interviewing everybody, I feel like this is the longer sequences of interviews where Jeff really was like kind of getting to know everybody. So just based on that alone, who do you think is like the strongest tribe personality-wise?
I thought that Jason had the most like personality-wise conversation. He seemed very quirky and excited to be there. But I think the person who had my favorite Matt chat was probably Jake. Though I think it was not strong game to go out right away and say, this is my sad story, this is why I'm here. I did think it was quite moving, and I did enjoy the fact that he was able to say all of this and be on this season.
Yeah, I think the Blue Tribe, or Kelly, I believe is its name, just had a lot of time to talk to Jeff, but also time in the episode for us to see that while they're not the most physical tribe, and I'm afraid that they won't continue to be for the next little bit of episodes, they might be the most strong personality tribe, taking out the fact that we have iconic duos on the other tribes forming. Like, I love Rizzo and Sage so far, and I love getting to see like Matt and Steven interact. Mm-hmm. The Blue Tribe overall just seems like it has a lot of very different characters that are going to be drumming up a lot of drama.
I love how unified the Red Tribe is, and I feel like they're going to continue to be that way until a tribe swap, if there is one, or when they finally merge, the Mergatory. But I'm really feeling out the Red Tribe right now.
The Vibe Tribe.
Yes, the Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, no. And then we obviously get Emily's favorite part of the season, Jeff's overarching theme of the season. He always goes onto his little combo and gives a tiny theme. Was last season Community? Or was that 47? No, that was 47. 47 was Community. I don't remember what last season was. It was like duos, but that wasn't really like...
I don't know. It was straying away from what you're used to with your job or whatever, and taking a sacrifice on yourself in Survivor. To be so honest with you guys, I really don't know what Jeff was trying to say this time around. Like, I don't know what you guys picked up on, but like, I really don't know what he was trying to say with 49.
I think this one was more just like, we're all out here, have a time. This is a once in a lifetime thing, and everybody is very different, and you come together and only one of you will win, but it's like a microcosm of what society is. He was pretty much just explaining what Survivor was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't really... Jeff is Jeff, and Jeff will be doing Jeff things, and I'll always have to stand.
It sounded like it wasn't... Like, this season won't be that big on twists and turns for some reason. Like, if he was just describing the game of Survivor, it seems like there won't be a lot of those advantages or whatever. But I completely doubt that, though. I completely doubt it. So, I mean, I don't know.
I am just happy we were able to go 2 hours of the new era without anybody talking about idols, there being no like shipwreck island twist, nobody losing a vote. This was a tribal council where everybody went in with the exact same amount of power, and it was a little bit refreshing seeing that all kind of happen in real time. I forgot how that was because we have not experienced that in a long time. So I would say the tribe that got the least amount of screen time was probably the Hina tribe, yellow.
Which
And
is
but we did.
interesting because they are, hold on, let me pull this up on Twitter. So this could be totally factual or totally not factual. But Hina is the first yellow tribe in the new era to win the first immunity challenge and avoid tribal council. The more you know. The more you
Oh
know.
yeah. And hey, that was through great performances by their alternates, both Jason and MC coming in, killing it, which I do think is interesting how the alternates were put on the same tribe. I also loved the fact that Jason instantly said, I'm an alternate, and MC kept that to herself. I don't know if that was strategy, if she just didn't feel like also bringing it up. I'm not too sure, but I found that kind of interesting. I'd say that the quote unquote main character of that tribe that we saw the most of was probably Steven, who really showed a good job navigating through the game. We got a little bit of personal content with him talking about his hearing loss, but also got a lot of strategy. Everybody seems to like him, find him funny. They claim he looks like Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if I see that, but hey,
To
to
each
each
their
their
own.
own. Exactly. But yeah, did anybody specifically stand out to you from that tribe?
Well, obviously Jason for me. So I knew I had a good pick, and some people were making fun of me, but I really like Jason a lot. I like his personality. I wish we got to see a little bit more of Matt because his answers were funny in the written questionnaire.
And then we got the Christina moment where she pretty much says that she's terrified of everything wilderness and has a huge phobia of birds. Good thing she wasn't on the season that had the whole bird aesthetic. The bird cages and all that would have been a little rough for her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of season themes, what do we think about this season's theme? Because we got mermaid idols and then a beached boat for our tribal council area.
I love it.
Definitely,
I think it's so
I think
cool.
it's sick. I think the artistic production team really ate with this season. I like the whole shipwreck theme that they have going for them. The idols, to quote Walker Rowe, a friend of the podcast, these idols are so fuckable. And
Insane.
low key
Clip
though,
that.
just
Insane. Okay.
just something I
Ciao.
heard, decided to bring it to you guys. I won't confirm nor deny my thoughts on that, but
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the Red Tribe.
I mean, we instantly got some really strong personalities on this tribe. We got Sage, who seems to give me Carolyn 2.0 energy. Very quirky out there, not afraid to be herself, not afraid to voice her opinion. She even said like it's kind of hard for her to keep things to herself. Like she's very open and upfront. We have Shannon, who was very also a little bit quirky with the whole very spiritual, wants this huge tribe dynamic to be a unifying team. But we did see that she's still thinking strategy wise, which I really did appreciate. How she's that kind of quirky character that we get from time to time that's like tribe strength, let's all pray together and all do this and this and that together, but then is also having side conversations with Sage and other people to build up an alliance for herself. And then I think, and then we got we got a lot from this tribe. We then have Rizzo, Riz God himself, who really I think stole the show this episode. We did get a lot of him though because he had to fend for himself to try to get the flint and the machete from the second challenge, which gave us a little bit of time to highlight his excitement, quirkiness, and lack of ability to do puzzles, but a great job of being able to know what to look for and how to help yourself.
He's honestly not
So,
as antagonizing as I thought he was going to be. Like, he's kind of charming, you know what I mean? But I mean, there's a little bit of cringe in all of us, and so he kind of just took his name and ran with it. So, you know what? Yeah,
I'm excited to
go
see
for it.
how.
Now, Jack, I actually have a question specifically for you. Savannah was your number one pick in your draft, and she's taking this very seriously. And Nate is someone who is kind of on the same ship as her. No pun intended with what we were just talking about. Do you think they're being a little too much with it, or do you think she's being a little bit too much, or do you think they're taking the game just as seriously as they should be?
I mean, I think that Savannah's in a pretty strong spot right now with her tribe. I think that she definitely is not. She's like, I'm okay with this being the vibe tribe for now, but that's not going to happen forever. I'm going to build my army and have the people to back me. And we saw that instantly with her talking to Shannon and Jawan. And then she backstepped a bit after we saw Jawan have a mini, I don't want to call it a temper tantrum, a mini, like, moment of annoyance when he couldn't make the fire that turned off Savannah from wanting to be a partner. She said about the two words, red flag. So I think that will cause a little bit of a drift. I don't know if that was maybe a bit too critical for this early on. I think right now you kind of just have to be, do I have numbers? Cool. And if Jawan seems loyal to me for now, then that's a now thing, and we can keep the rest of it in the back of our head. If everyone else starts talking, I can see it maybe coming back to bite her, but for now, I think she's has the right ground to make it far.
Now with the Blue Tribe, Abby, I want to know how you feel about them, because I know you have some people on there.
Well, the only person I have is Miss Annie. And I had a lot of opinions about Jake as well, and unfortunately I did not get him. I believe Kabram did.
Agree?
But
Agree. Kabram only has people from the Blue Tribe.
because Kabram has Jake, Nicole, RIP, and Alex?
Alex. Yeah.
Question mark. I think that the Blue Tribe had a lot of personality to it, but they where their issue is going to be that is entertaining for us, but not so fortunate for them, is they seem to have a lot of conflicting personalities or kind of perspectives in the game. So while people seem interested in working with each other, I don't think that there are alliances that are going to last. And then unfortunately for me, as you may notice if you are a longtime listener of the podcast, I typically always pick the older woman. That's just a thing that I enjoy doing. And I believe Annie is the oldest woman on the season, aged out just slightly by Nate and Matt. She does not seem to be well liked by this tribe. So my dream of having another Sue or especially another Heather might be cut a little too short because they do not seem to be liking her too much. And she got by the skin of her teeth with how Tribal Council went this week.
I think that how you kind of phrase it, is this maybe a downfall for Savannah, is kind of the downfall for this tribe. I think everyone is playing right now. Everybody has this side alliance with this alliance over here, and then this side alliance with this person. And I think that it's interesting what happened with Annie, because Annie, they kind of just assumed was not playing. Sometimes the older character just is there for the vibes, not really that strategic. And Annie did something smart that just ended up not being the person to talk to, but she realized that if it's not her this tribal, it's probably her the next tribal, so she should do something to make that change, and brought it up to Sophie. Should she have brought it up to Alex instead? 100%, since Alex had already talked to her about wanting to work with her. But I think that the intention was really there, and I respect that move. It just happened that Sophie was not wanting to work with her and went straight to every other person on the tribe and instantly brought all of that info back. So I am a little bit as well afraid of Annie's chances of going far.
Where I also find that stereotype frustrating, though, is A, they're older players really aren't that much older right now. The oldest player is, I think, 52 with Matt.
Hmm.
And it's a slightly higher averaged age season, anyways. So the difference of 52 to 35 is very different than 55 to 25. First of all, and second of all, that stereotype of like the older player typically be players that are 60 and up, and they haven't cast that character. The last person I can think of is really Keith, or it's someone who does go home first, so I forget about them. But it's been
Yeah.
so long since we've had someone like Joe who worked with Aubrey or Keith or someone where it's like they're literally not focused on strategy and they're just
They're
there to
just
survive
loyal. Yeah.
because the game has become so game centric and so much less survival skill centric that you're not looking at Annie and saying that she's a wilderness character that's a person who's there to live in the woods. She's very obviously there to play the game, so I wish people would let someone like her play.
I completely agree. Completely
Well, the
agree.
thing that frustrates me a little bit about some the of her tribe mates like viewing her is they see her as someone who kind of just goes off and goes by herself, and they view that as suspicious even though they haven't really like talked about idols, which again, like you said earlier, this has been like the most straight up first episode ever, or like first 2 days of the game ever, which is kind of interesting. But like she was the one volunteering at all those challenges to do like the big stuff, like the heavy lifting and stuff, and that was not recognized at all. Did she do the best job? No, but she had Jake behind her, and you know, were they close to almost winning some of the stuff? Yeah, but like they couldn't get the job done, and the only reason they're pointing their finger at her is because she went off by herself. Like they haven't brought up any other reason to vote her off other than that, and because maybe it might be easy. So I just
Yeah.
think that's kind of interesting with that tribe.
Because it's hard. It's hard because they just assume instantly, oh, they're going to be bad at challenges because they may not be as youthful. But like Abby said, nobody this season is like. I mean, Jake is the most athletic on their tribe for sure, but he's 36 years old. It's not like he's super young. Nothing wrong with being a little bit more mature, but I do
Yeah.
think their tribe especially skewed a little bit on the older side, with Jeremiah as well being a bit older. And I think that this dynamic, I don't think there was a lot of tribe unity, similar to what you guys were saying. I think that this tribe had the most differing opinions throughout the episode, which led them to not being able to make it as far in the season. Or
Because
in the
who's
season, in the challenge.
I'm looking at a picture here of like of that. That's why I'm like looking this way. I'm looking at all the people in the different tribes. So okay, so it's Sophie and Jake who've agreed to be in an alliance, and then Jake is like, yeah, Alex is my guy. So it's the three of them. But it seems like Jake is in the middle between Alex and Sophie. Like they don't seem that close. And then who pairs off with Jeremiah? Is it
And
Sophie who does?
Sophie's now working with Jeremiah as well.
Yeah.
And then Annie wanted to work with Sophie and Jeremiah, but to
Yep.
try to go for Alex or Jake. But she went and told them that. And
Yeah.
Alex wanted to have a side alliance with Annie because he just kind of assumed that the older person is just more likely to be loyal and not play the game. Which is
Yeah.
exactly what he was trying to say without saying it.
And then poor Nicole got voted off.
Yeah.
And it,
I will say this right now. I know she said in her exit press that she was okay with the edit. If I got her edit, I would have sued. I would have sued everybody.
I saw that tweet.
I
I
mean,
saw that tweet.
like, the first bit of context we get of her when she's in, or content, not context. The first bit of content we get of her when she's at the tribe is falling over while trying to pick up all of this wood. And then during the challenge, we see her spitting on Jeremiah in a way that seemed non-consensual, even though the exit press said he asked for her to do it. And then we see her vomiting because we didn't get the context again, but she took a vitamin on an empty stomach. But we're just seeing just
Oh,
the
that's what happened?
yeah, yeah.
There's all
So
these memes online that it's
we're just
because,
seeing
oh, she,
poor Nicole.
yeah.
Yeah,
That it was like, oh, she found out that she was going to get voted off, or she got nervous that she was going to be voted off, so she vomited. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. Come on.
Now, do I think she should have played her shot in the dark? Probably. I think even in the situation, and this is what I was saying during the episode, and I do stand by this. If you're in a situation where it's a 50-50 chance it's you, and you know for a fact they're not splitting any votes, it's either all going to be on you or all going to be on Annie, you play that shot in the dark because your vote doesn't really matter, and it guarantees you at least a chance of being safe. Like,
Yeah.
Nicole really, she knew, it's not like she was blindsided by the fact that people were saying her name. She knew she was
Yeah.
an option. Even during the tribal council, she turned to Alex and said, "Am I safe? Am I okay?" And he did a good job of like looking her in the eyes and being like, "Yeah, yeah, you're good." Like he lied straight to her face. He didn't
Yeah.
do any bullshitting, or he did a
Yeah.
lot of bullshitting.
I
But yeah,
felt I felt
I do
bad
feel
for
bad.
her. Yeah, because well, for two different reasons. One, she was like, "Oh, for my job, like I have to know those red flags. I have to be able to read right through them." And I think plenty of people on the tribe gave her red flags. But again, that's easy for us to say as viewers to say like, "Oh my gosh, they're lying straight to your face, girl. Like how can you not see it?" And then, yeah, second of all, she had the fabulous idea of playing her shot in the dark. And she still, for some reason, was like, no, 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 I think I'm okay, and did not play it. So I think for those two reasons, like, that was her perfect downfall for her to leave right away. And I don't think she would have lasted much longer if it was Annie that went home first. So, poor Nicole.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, if I got
She
that
was in a
edit, I
tough
would
spot with her
sue.
tribe. She didn't really get along with everybody on the tribe. It was very clear from the beginning that Sophie, Nate, and Jake were in the power position. And while she did vibe and get along with Sophie, we didn't see any content with her, with Alex and Jake. And so it was a lot easier, especially in the beginning of the season when you're voting for the first tribal. You kind of just want to be, it's anyone but me mentality. And she was just such an easy person for that to be like, we can kind of do that. She didn't do well in either challenge. She wasn't the most intertwined within the tribe dynamic. So yeah, I feel bad, but again, it's sad. It sucks that somebody has to be the first, and for us, this season, Nicole was the first person voted out. I do think, though, we will be seeing Blue again in Tribal Council soon.
100%.
I think they were just hoping that Jake, and maybe he will, maybe he'll surprise me. But I do think, based off of looking at the different tribes and seeing strengths and weaknesses, I think they were hoping they had a Jonathan Young 2.0 who can just carry his entire tribe to victory on his back. And we're kind of hoping that Jake would do the same. We will see. I don't know how likely that is, but hopefully this tribe works together a little bit better.
Overall, I felt good about the first episode. I liked that we got a little bit of backstory from a couple of different people. I think my favorite part about this episode was hearing about things that people don't like about themselves or what they struggle with, and then them saying that, oh, this is what I'm going to try and work on during this season. And I think that's my favorite part of Survivor, seeing people how they grow. Famously, Emily being this really like hard person and being so serious all the time, and then she finally got out of her shell, and once she did, she was voted off. I still call that a win in my book, so I'm just excited to see how people are going to evolve throughout the season. Let's talk predictions.
My prediction for this season is that the tribes are not going to be super loyal to each other when we hit the merge. I think there are a lot of gamers on this
Interesting.
season, and I think that I can see people from different tribes wanting to work together. And even with the whole Jake and Rizzo conversation, and or not Jake, sorry, Alex and Rizzo conversation, and Alex like congratulating him at the end, even though he fully cheated off his work. I do think that this season gives me very quirky players that are not willing to kind of separate against tribal lines.
I can see that. I will predict that players will hold each other accountable, because let's say that Alex and Rizzo do make it to the merge. If I were Alex, I'd be going around and telling people, yeah, Riz God cheated. Riz God cheated. Do not be this guy's alliance member. You do not want to pick him as a partner for challenges. He is not your guy.
I
And
am willing to
maybe
bet though that that's 100% what he did. I'm willing to bet you he went back to tribe to his tribe and said, Rizzo cheated off my work, and I'm willing to bet you that Rizzo went back to his tribe and said I cheated off of his work.
I don't know. I don't really have like a read quite yet, but I agree with your prediction somewhat. But I think I'll make a better statement after episode 2.
And I think mine is a little blanket, but based on what we saw in episode 1, I'm hoping slash manifesting a prediction that we're gonna have a bit more survival elements brought up this season because they seem to be hinting at the fact that Matt was pretty much the only one on the whole cast who like had any interest in the survival side of Survivor. And a lot more of this cast seemed more like a Suri where they got up off the couch and have never slept outside and don't know what they're doing, which I didn't expect because we really haven't heard that in a while, even though most of the cast has been like that. So I'm thinking there might be some nature elements or some medical incidents, something where the survival side of Survivor kind of rears its ugly but entertaining but challenging head.
I love that.
I like
I
that.
hope that happens too. Not to kind of put a sour note on this real quick, but I just do want to make sure that we talk about this. At the very end of the episode, Survivor dedicated the episode to Vince Costello. He was a crew member who died right after season 50 was filmed. So this is the second to last season that he was a part of. Thankfully, Survivor changed his family forever, and his family is still part of the franchise, and they're still all part of it. Vince Costello, he was a locations manager for Survivor, and he's been on since season 33, so Millennials versus Gen X. He was responsible for finding areas in Fiji where the series would film various challenges, tribal councils, and other iconic Survivor scenes. Articles that I've been seeing here, they don't say exactly how he died, but he seemed to be pretty young. But I thought that was very sweet how they did that, and I really hope that they do something at the end of 50 because I think that's kind of cool that you don't hear that a lot where they kind of honor people from especially other countries, but people behind the scenes who are really putting like their blood, sweat, and tears in the whole thing. So I just wanted to highlight that before we move on with the memes.
Much like previous seasons that he has worked on, I think it might be time for our favorite segment.
Meme time.
So I can go first because we were just chatting about this part of the episode, but I wanted to highlight Rizzo being the Riz God himself and cheating during the challenge and then getting incredibly emotional about it. Like he had just won the season. But all he did was just look at the other person's work. So this meme says, me after passing my exam using ChatGPT for every question, and then it's his reaction to winning.
Wow! 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 I wish I could hug myself, but that's weird.
But
So-
that's weird.
I really loved that. I think that whole scene made me understand the Riz God hype. And, like, it was just so good.
Following up Mr. Rizgod, I chose one from Jake because similar to the idea that I didn't expect this to be a segment in the show, I have one that is just, I know a left shoe hates to see me coming, and it's like a fake Jake tweet.
Another example of a poor Nicole moment of this episode.
A poor Nicole, but also a classic Survivor style segment that I have very deeply missed, where I don't know if we've had genuine theft since Tony or at least Sandra and Russell.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So I hope the Shoe Bandit continues because it's like such harmless fun that
Yeah.
I liked.
I feel like the last good thing, like creative thing that we got was Q and the Q skirt. I love when people show their personalities like that.
Big mistake.
All right, guys, my meme is in very poor taste. It is in very poor taste. I'm not proud of it, um, especially after information that I learned on this podcast. But you know what? I'm still gonna show it because I think it's the funniest freaking thing that I saw on Twitter all that night. So, so think he might be getting voted off Survivor 49. I'm sorry, but that was by far the best one that I saw.
And girl in the middle has the best take, so no one can say anything.
Oh my gosh.
That was our review, reaction, discussion, breakdown of Survivor 49 Episode 1. We got a whole season coming at you this time. We're ready for it. And yeah, stay tuned. We are excited to chat more and maybe bring on some special guests. We will see.
I don't know. You might have to stick around and see who we have cooked up for something. They were kind of like the star of the show, you could say.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And they might have some updates about them.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
And a hammer of a good time.
That's crazy. Okay. You'll find out. You'll find out.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.